Well, hello.
Hello.
And what was
You eating?
No, I had a piece of gum.
Oh.
And I put it in my mouth foolishly just before I came out. And then I thought, oh, I have to speak. So, welcome to the day of Hot Topics on the View. First of all, we all want to thank you all for coming out because it is a snowstorm out there.
Of you, I think you are crazy. Our audience has to stand outside to wait because we don't have a huge lobby and so forth. And you all stood outside your nuts. Thank you. I would like to also ask my colleague here, do you happen to be aware of what is with your little silk dress?
Yes, my little
freezing
silk dress. It is. I put aside weather for fashion. Always.
I walk to work.
As does Michelle Obama.
No, I walk to work, and walking.
She lives across the street.
I know I'm kind of embellishing it like some of the politicians do, but I walked to work across the street, and it was a whole bunch of snow. You had to step all in that.
Oh my God! This is this is the first time in about 5 or 6 years that the school system has been shut down. I mean, kids have a snow day. Look at this. I mean, it's insane out there.
Yeah. Times Square, right?
We never had snow days.
So I did too.
Did you?
Because I grew up in Boston.
Right.
And in Boston, you really had, further.
I miss L.A. I miss the palm trees.
My daughter is my daughter has 2 feet of snow. Her little dogs go out in the snow, and she never sees them again.
You can move up your sleds today.
I could. I could just go right out today.
That's what stops me from getting a dog. This is the only thing, because I see people out there in the snow with their dogs. You got to wait for them to pee. And
you have to get a small dog that can go on a wheelie.
Yeah, but a small dog can't go outside. You have to carry them. What's the point of having a dog you have to carry?
And do not eat yellow snow.
I mean, get a pocketbook. I mean, it's crazy. Yes. But now, I don't know whether you guys are aware of this, but we lost one of the great radio personalities of all time on Saturday. His name was Paul Harvey, and he was 90 years old, and he passed. And he was such really a wonderful man, a really, really wonderful man.
He was conservative, but he did see both sides. And one of the things that he started in the 1940s, I mean, he talked about Roosevelt and so forth, is that in 2000, at the age of 82, he signed a 10-year pact, I think with ABC, with $100 million. That's my kind of man.
Yeah.
You would love him.
Oh, 82, you signed $100 million.
For 10 years.
For 10
that's the
years.
thing that got me.
His wife died a year ago.
Right.
And there was one of these great romances, and they said that he had not been the same since her death.
But somebody brought up this morning that he was, as you said, sort of a moderate, and you really don't get that on the radio anymore. You either get extreme left or extreme right, mostly extreme right. And I wonder if we'll ever have a time where radio, although radio, I don't know, some people say it's fading anyway.
Oh, I think so.
Bill Getty and I do our radio broadcast for Sirius Today. We hope it's not fading. No, we love it.
The radio will always, it will always be there because, I think that most people, they don't want to just hear their music. We have iPods and iPhones and stuff, but I think most people listen because the radio is where you get the information of what's going on. You know what's going on. Yeah, so you're listening and
working
you
out.
want to know.
I just think there's more direct shopping, though, for radio. You shop for what you want to hear. So if you want to hear a backup for what you think you believe, you'll go shopping to one radio station versus the other.
And it's like this show, you want to hear what's going. You want to hear what a certain person's opinion on.
From Paul Harvey to Rush Limbaugh.
But the internet, is where people get their information a lot, and podcasts. So radio may be waning.
No, radio's not. Radio will always go like this. It'll always go up and down, but I don't think it'll ever go away. And so, Paul, we know you're up there with the other great broadcasters, but not this man that we're about to talk about, Rush Limbaugh. He gave a speech, huh?
He's still here.
He's still here. He gave a speech at the Conservative Political Action Conference in Washington on Saturday and had this to say about President Obama's economic plans. Look.
I want any force, any person, any element of an overarching big government that would stop your success. I want that organization, that element, or that person to fail. I want you to succeed.
Well, he said, I want Barack Obama to fail.
Yeah.
But this morning I was listening to one of the television shows, and Buchanan was on, Patrick Buchanan. He said the same thing. I want Barack Obama to fail. He said, I hate to quote, because I may not, but he said that Obama has come out of the closet, and the reason that they want him to fail is that this is going to be a socialist country. What Rush Limbaugh said is, I don't want him to destroy the capitalistic system.
I don't think there's a danger of that, do you?
That's what they are saying.
There are people who believe that.
There are people who
do you think there's something wrong with what he said?
Oh, I do. I do think it's something wrong with what he said. I think it's causing a lot of divisiveness. I remember when 9/11 happened. I know that there were a lot of people who didn't agree with us going to war, but everybody came together. They took a unified stand.
For a few days.
No, it was not for a few days. A lot of people came together, and then after the war, when they saw this is not working, they came out full force against Bush.
Where are those people now that the war is a success?
But a lot of people gave Bush a chance. They didn't, you know, the man has been in office 31 days. I don't think anybody is giving him a chance.
But the thing, if you're going to blame someone and say, I hope they fail, then you have to give your own plan for success. And the Republicans have not given their plan. It's very easy just to criticize.
But Rush is not the guy. He's not speaking.
He's not running for office yet.
No, but he's speaking for the Republican Party.
I don't know if he's speaking for the Republican Party. That's what I'm questioning. I don't know if he's speaking for the...
Why is it a bad thing to say that if you believe that someone represents something which you vehemently oppose, okay? If you believe that a system is wrong for this country and you believe there's a person leading that system, why is it, and it is our right, I believe, to say that you don't support that person? Where were people were the dissenters? Don't put the halos on yet. All the dissenters who didn't want Bush to succeed, they were out there and they were loud. So I don't think there's a thing wrong with him saying this. There are many people who believe that.
You weren't allowed to really, at the beginning of the war in Iraq, to say, I hope the war failed.
You just had to get into an argument.
No. You were in trouble.
You did it. There were consequences for you saying it.
Well, people said maybe you were unpatriotic. Barack Obama said, wait a minute, hang on. Barack Obama said when we were going over the stimulus bill, that people were patriotic supporters. Did that mean that people were unpatriotic if they didn't support it?
It's a crappy thing to say.
In those days, if you didn't support it, you were unpatriotic, Elizabeth. Yes.
That's my opinion.
If you came out against Bush in the beginning.
The same thing. Obama used the same thing with the stimulus package.
It is a crappy thing to say after 31 days. Yeah. If in a year, you know, you feel this way, that's cool. But to say you want it to fail before we've even tried it seems crappy to me. And I understand what you're saying about Bush. But I also know that there were a lot of people, Rush among them, who really shredded you if you said anything like that about Mr. Bush. I know, and it's not right. So that's why I'm saying I think what he's saying is crappy. I'd rather he said it when we know it's not going to work.
People didn't wait to see how the war turned out. We're succeeding in Iraq. Iraq is a totally new face now.
That's not what the point I'm making. It's not the point I'm making.
Saying the dissenters then didn't wait.
No, there were no dissenters when we all went in. The people who said, you know, I'm not sure about this, 90% of the people said, let's go and kick the behind of the people who came over and did this to us. That's why everybody got their ass handed to them when they suddenly realized, oh, we're in the middle of a war that we didn't count on. That's why people are getting their behinds handed to them. But when he said, we're going over to take care of business, people were behind him. That's what I'm talking about.
People were.
Most people were. All people are not behind. The other thing that we're saying, beyond the 31 days, and I'm trying, you know, I always try to sort of do this here, is you can criticize. You can say, I'm against this plan. You can also say, I hope for the sake of the country that it succeeds. If it does not, here is my plan.
I would say that. That was what I would say, because that is my right.
I hope everything fails. You're talking about the country. How can you hope that every part of it, yes, you'll say, because we'll be a socialist country. You know, it is important in many cases now to give money to various projects, various things, various plans. It may not work, but he has no alternate plan.
Well, that's the thing. Rush Limbaugh